Okay, it's early October, but it's a beautiful day, so going out for a autumnal ride on the Trident. So this is a 1975 Trident T160 750. It's the last last of the Triumphs before it all collapsed. So this is the T160, which is the last iteration really of the whole Tridents. Early Tridents came out in '68 with the T150 and remained in production until this last model in '75. The idea of the Trident, as with the Commando, is they're a stopgap model with a wonderful British industry was going to bring out these wonderful new bikes, but of course they never materialised, and so the Trident and Commando remained the flagship models until the whole thing just collapsed. So this is a T160. The difference is they restyled the T150 completely. The T150 used to have vertical cylinders, but the Commando and the Rocket 3, which is the BSA version of the Trident, both had inclined cylinders, and I think Triumph finally admitted that it looked a lot better with the forward inclined cylinders, and so for the T160 they finally bit the bullet and they inclined the cylinders as well. Just makes it look that bit more sporty, and they went back to traditional Trident styling. Sorry, there's something on in the park, so it's a bit noisy at the moment. Anyway, they went back to traditional styling, the traditional flowing Triumph styling, because for the original Tridents, the original T150s, they tried to go modern, and it didn't work. You know, it was supposed to be. They hired, I've forgotten the name. Damn, what's the name of the? There's a famous styling house that they went to that designed the Bond bug and so on. And the name escapes me now, but they went to them, but it didn't work, and it never looked quite right, the T150. So they went back to traditional sort of motorbike styling for the T160, and it's a beautiful looking bike. So what we got, T160, we've got the forward inclined cylinders. More importantly, we've got electric start. Unlike the Commando, the electric start on the Trident works pretty well standard, so that is left as standard. I've just refurbished it, serviced it, and it's fine. I rebuilt this bike now completely about 5 years ago now. It's been pretty trouble-free ever since. The paintwork, that's non-original paintwork, and that was actually on the bike before I bought it. I bought the bike looking beautiful, but of course it wasn't beautiful, and I had to rebuild the whole thing. But one thing it did have was that amazing paint job, which I've gotten to love. 5-speed gearbox, and of course the gear box is blanked off over there because it's as with the Commando again, for this last model it's left foot gear change to comply with American legislation. I've got the new Autumnal Premier carbs, triple carbs, the standard. I've put bell mouths on mine, which a lot of people say is complete heresy, but tough, that's my bike, and so you can get lost basically. So the air filter is gone. I just use open bell mouths, as I do on my T150 as well. Twin discs, they weren't standard, they never had twin discs as standard. I've uprated this, so they had a disc, they had a front disc as standard, but I've added a second disc to make it twin discs, and that works really well. It's a fairly standard modification. You didn't used to be able to buy this extra fork leg with the bracket on for the caliper, but you can now. Sorry, I'm listening to something. I don't know what, someone's talking somewhere. So you have to put a new leg on, and then it goes okay. What else? I'm trying to work out where that noise is coming from. I can't. It's like I say, somewhere in the park. We live next to the park, and I imagine it's something to do with the park. It just sounds very close. Anyway, never mind. Putting me off. Rear disc brake as well. Again, like the Commando for this last Like the Mark III Commando, it's got a rear disc brake which works really well. When it's bled, I've got the new uprated calipers on mine. ARP calipers are they, front and back, and they work great. The trouble with that rear caliper is you have to really bleed it carefully because the bleed nipple's at the bottom and they don't like bleeding at all. But when they are working, they go really well. And then, as again with the Mark III, they finally put a binnacle on for the keys and the instruments. Updated it rather than sort of just in the headlamp, and so that's nice. And you've got all instrumentation, and one thing you do have, luckily, is the oil pressure warning light, which is great, which you don't have on a Commando. What else? Apart from that, it's pretty standard. As with all my Commando and my other Tridents and so on, the other thing I've done is I always upgrade the electric slightly, and all I do with that is I get rid of the Zener diode, get rid of the old rectifier, put on a Boyer power box, a combined regulator and rectifier, a modern one, and put a new gel battery in. Normally a Moto battery, big as I can get generally, and then the electrics are great. And then again, as with all the other bikes, I change all the bulbs to LED bulbs, because I always ride with my headlamp on, and that it takes an amazing amount of power. People don't realise how much power that a headlight takes. So changing to LED bulb there, LED bulb at the rear. I haven't bothered with the indicators, they're still standard because you only use them a bit. So LED bulbs which take a minute amount of current, and uprating the charging system slightly, new battery, new combined regulator rectifier, and it works great. I've never changed the alternators on the bikes. The alternators are fine unless you're using the headlight with standard bulbing, and then it will drain, especially around town we're doing low speeds. Oh yeah, so that's where the old Zener diode goes. That's a heat sink for the Zener diode because they get very hot. So I've left the heat sink in, but there's no actual Zener diode in it. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's a pretty. This is a slightly uprated exhaust. It's a straight through sort of exhaust. It seems to go well. Makes a nice sound. Okay, I think that's about it. Yeah, as I say, so this is the last of the range, and then at the end of 75 the whole thing collapsed, and that was it. Yeah, oil cooler, all Tridents. I think all Tridents had oil coolers as standard. That's one thing they had, which is different to the BSA, etc. So all Tridents have So I'm being distracted. Not different to the BSA. They're all Tridents and BSAs. They all had the oil cooler. All triples had a oil cooler. So different to the Commando is what I meant to say. And that's one trademark since '68. Since they very first came out, they were fitted with oil coolers. Yep, I think that's about it generally. So let's go out. Sun's just coming up. Yeah, just coming up. So let's get out. Let's get out for a ride. So here we are, sandwich stop at Monash. Bacon and egg sarnie, perfect. So we got some bikes. We got Bobber Black, is that? Something like that. Bobber Bumble. And a T100. Yeah, at some point I need to think about getting a modern bike. I don't know. All I've got is classics, but the problem is I only ride on a Sunday morning. So I used to have a modern bike, but I never ride it because every Sunday morning I want to go out on a classic. If I did more mileage, if I did proper mileage, then I'll have a modern bike.
Even though it's 2 days.
Got a nice lineup of different bikes this morning. One's here, one's there. Enjoying the sunshine. Bacon and egg sarnies. Oh, there's mine. What else have we got? Lots of mine's about the only classic, I think. I don't think I've seen another old bike, but always good for a stop and have a chat with people. There's always someone to have a chat to. It's great. How are we doing? Yeah, we seem to be doing okay. Yeah, there's just one thing I've got, and that is I've had this damn very small persistent weep. It's just there, just a little weep. I thought I cured. It's virtually cured, just off the thing. It's just off the rocky box. So apart from that, we're all okay. Good ride. Don't think there's anything to report. Can't remember. Yeah, just that slight weep. Bloody annoying. I'll see if I can cure it this winter. Anyway, soon be time for setting off again. Ooh, bikes all around. Heaven. Yeah, so there was just one problem I got that I've been, and that is couldn't get any petrol, because at the moment there's a bit of a petrol shortage on in the UK. It's easing, but it's still there, and of course I have to have premium E5 petrol. I can't put standard E10 petrol in. You know, if I'm stuck, I can't get premium. I can put standard in, but of course they've changed it now, so it's standard petrol is now E10, and that's not going to be good for this engine. So I can only put in premium E5. And I've been to 2 garages this morning, and neither of them has got premium petrol. So let's have a look. As you can see now, I've got a bit of petrol. I think I've got enough to get back, but it's just another flipping worry. Have I got enough to get back? I think I have. But yeah, no one's got premium petrol. Oh well, there we go. So back from the ride now, and yeah, really nice to get out. It was a beautiful day, sort of soft autumnal day, lovely and sunny, and yeah, it's a nice day to be out. The only problem being, of course, it's a sort of harbinger of winter, but Yeah, it's nice to be out, and the bike's gone really well. So pleased with that. There's all the bikes lined up, waiting to be ridden and waiting to be sort of looked after a bit. And of course, my little Solo over there. What can I say? No, it just went really well. Nothing really needs doing. I've just got a very slight weep from the, I think it's from the front rocker box, and so I'll do that over the winter. I think that what it is, there's there's 3 like Allen bolts at the front of the rocker box, and that go into the head, and I think it's probably one of those that's leaking. So I'll just I'll do that. Apart from that, you know, everything going well. No problems. So, you know, thumbs up. Just great. No need to do anything really. All going well. No major surgery, I don't think, to be done on any of them this this winter. I could probably do with re-chroming the exhaust on the T150 if they'll do it for me. They're quite friendly to me. So there's you can't see, but there's a few scratches and one thing or another, and I've also had to weld up the silencer underneath, so I might get that done. I don't know, but apart from that, I'm trying to think if there's any major surgery. I don't think there is on any of the bikes, which is great. Just need some premium petrol, some petrol, E5 petrol. I got back fine, but I know that's pretty empty now, and I don't want to leave them over winter with empty tanks. I'll put fuel stabilizer in. What I normally do is I put fuel stabilizer in, then I'll run the engines and with the fuel taps off until it uses up all the fuel in the carbs, give it a good slosh about in the tank, and leave them like that. Then what often happens is over winter the fuel will slowly leak in from the, because the tap's never shut fully. It will just slowly leak into the carbs, but I know that all the petrol that's in there that's got fuel stabilizer in, and fill the tanks up pretty high to stop the any corrosion and so on in the tanks. But you know, hopefully that won't be for a few weeks. Hopefully I might get another couple of rides in. I don't know, depends on the weather. Anyway, great ride today, and so I'm feeling really happy.